I've been set up. John Malott is the man. Let's give him a tremendous picture, please. Give John Malott a standing ovation. Yes, indeed. Yes. I'm backstage. I said, who is that up in here, up in here? You know, I tell you, his energy, his passion, his love, and his style just resonates with me. And I was backstage just watching, I was just mesmerized with his presentation. And that's how you create momentum. Now, my voice is going in and out. I don't know if they need another battery for this, but we'll check and see. But, John, this is my first time. I said, can somebody else go up next? So when he came backstage, I said, I'm not worthy, John. I'm not worthy. Thou please anoint me. I really, and I mean that sincerely, because people need hope now more than ever before. And the ability to communicate, and to communicate, write this down, communicate from the heart. One of the things that I do is teach and train people how to communicate from the heart. Because when you communicate from the heart, words spoken from the heart, in the heart, does that make sense? Now, one of the things that I'd like to do is share with you some things that I have learned over the years. I feel that it would be of value and benefit to you right now. This is Dr. Julie Van Putten. She is a powerful speaker, MD, PhD from The Ohio State University. Only 1% of doctors are MD, PhD, and she has both of them. And so I just give her a round of applause. As soon as they can tell me that the in and out programming will be resolved, then I can get into my flow. But in the meantime, while they're working on that, did it go out again? Yeah. You know what? John, where are you? It didn't do that one time while you were here. You know what? I will pray for you, John. I will pray for you. That's my brother from another mother. But I'm glad, because at least I can say, I was going to take him out, but the microphone. There it goes again. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know he paid the PA guy. I know he paid him off, you know what I mean? Yes, oh boy. So the thumbs up. I have a new microphone coming. Okay, in other words, you got John to leave the Okay, so let me just go ahead on and just ad-lib until they bring up the so-called new microphone. Whatever. I can say about this business, and John hit the key, that it's about relationship marketing. But there's something else that's important. Write this down. Resiliency. Resiliency. One of the biggest challenges you're going to have is being able to get people to hang in there. How many of you know that? Raise your hand. Resiliency. And so when I saw that, mental resiliency is major for this business, because people are not accustomed to being rejected. They're not accustomed to recruiting. They're not accustomed to building an organization. They're not accustomed to reinventing themselves. This is a brand new day. And so part of it, you're going to see when you come out, my son, two of my sons here, Patrick Brown and John Leslie. Raise your hand, John Leslie. Yeah, but what you will find is that this and some of the top people in this industry have said choosing your future, the most powerful presentation that deals with building resiliency. Thank you. Are you a friend of John? Then you're a friend of mine, all right? Yeah. So make sure that you do not leave. You got a limited number of those of choosing your future and 4 stages to greatness. But there's nothing else. This is called leadership shift, and this is with my kids. How many have children? Raise your hands, please. Very good. Make sure your children listen to choosing your future. In fact, I met some people backstage that I've been listening to you since I was a little kid. Yes, and it's flattering. I enjoy this because, in fact, I've been doing this for many years. You know, I'm 70 years old, and so yeah, thank you. You're not going to believe anything else I say from here on out? Yes, I'm 70. And I just turned 70, though, February 17th, 1945. Yeah. And so there's some things that I have learned that I want to share with you. And part of the process of looking at it, I want you to think about your dreams now. What's your dream? What is your dream? Oh, but let me go back up for just a moment, please. I don't dye my hair because I have an allergic reaction, but I do cheat. I use mascara. My kids said, Daddy, you look distinguished with your gray hair. I said, 70, I'm not trying to look distinguished. Strong self-esteem to do this. You understand what I'm saying? But you're going to need a paintbrush, all right? I got to share this with you. I was speaking at the Georgia Dome before 80,000 people. In fact, I want you to, I'm not making this up. If you go to lesbrownmotivation.com, write that down, lesbrownmotivation.com, you will see me speaking before 80,000 people. In fact, I'm going to share some techniques and strategies with you that you can use when you are presenting. So at any rate, so at the end of my presentation, someone said, Mr. Brown, our speaker canceled. Do you have enough energy to give another presentation? So John, I said, no. So I walked away and said, we can pay you a full fee. I said, the Lord is able. People say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. A friend of mine named Rita Davenport said money, you know, it's not important, but it's right up there with oxygen. So they took me over to the Georgia World Congress Center, and it was a very intimate setting and people close to the stage. So I looked in, I said, excuse me just a moment, I have to go to the restroom. So I went to the restroom, and I had been sweating a lot. So I had to touch things up a little bit, you know. So when I came inside, what happened was that the lady who wanted everybody to know that she knew me, she said, there he is, Les Brown. And so I came up on the stage, she kissed me on the cheek, I kissed her on the cheek, and left this big black smudge on her face. So I didn't know what to do, so I just sat down. And so the people down front started saying, there's something on your face. So she looks at me, she said, what are they saying? I said, I don't know. So finally, John, someone came up, opened up her purse, gave her a mirror. She looked and saw the big black smudge on her face. She said, how did this get here? I said, I don't know, you think maybe this rubs off? And the reason that I share this with you, now I use waterproof, Mademoiselle. A man has got to do what he's got to do. So I want you to think about your goals. How many have some major goals? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I want you to think about your goals in 3 areas. No, John has a spy in the back. It's all right. I want you to think about your goals in 3 areas. I want you to think about your personal goal. What's a personal goal that you'd like to achieve? I want you to think about that. My first personal goal is to buy my mother a home. I'm adopted. I'm one of 7 children that she adopted. And I wanted to be able to take care of her. I said, Mama, I was 10 years old. When I become a man, you never have to pay another bill. And so at that time, I was looking forward to turning 18. And because I admired my mother's courage, her faith, her drive, her determination, a woman single, raising 7 children. She never had any children herself. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. Mama worked on Miami Beach for wealthy families. She cooked for these families, and we ate food left over from the families that she cooked for. She kept their children, and we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that Mama kept. And so she adopted Wesley and I. I have a twin brother, Wesley. And so, which one am I? Of course, I'm the cute one. I'm on the left. And so she adopted Wesley and I. And one of the things that I want to encourage you to do is to continue to work on your mind, mental resiliency. Because there are things that affect us that's in our past that we don't even realize. Winston tastes good like what?
A cigarette should.
You know, people say cigarettes should. That commercial's been on television for 40 years. Television and radio. So what else is in there in your mind that you're not even aware of? I saw a movie one night, Tom Cruise. It was Magnolia. And it said, we might be through with our past, but our past is not through with us. Wow. And so one of the things that I can just share with you unequivocally, and that I did this, how many of you want to know what works? Raise your hands, please. Yeah. What works is you have to work on your mind. Every day, every seminar, when I think about it, every seminar that I've gone to, every book that I've read, all the lectures that I've heard from dynamic and powerful people like John, all of them contributed to me being the person that I am right now. And so you have to really work on your mind on an ongoing basis. You never get to the place where you know it all. You don't, because there are things that's affecting us every day. We're being bombarded with all type of commercials and billboards, and you're looking at television, you're looking at the news, and all type of things are coming, and you see those little crawls. Everything is coming in and accessing our minds. You go into the service station, you get gas, they got commercials there. You get on the elevator. It's everywhere. We're being pounced on. And so working on your mind is key. And I can tell you the things that I've learned that allowed me to, and I'm going to share with you now, things that allowed me to be able to do some things that I had no idea. And it was very challenging for me because of my beginning. And so one of the keys is communicate from your heart. That gives you the competitive advantage. People are out looking just to get people into their organization, to build organizations. And people can smell commission breath. Did you want to get a commission off them? An override? No. But when you communicate from your heart, it says, I care about you. You ask questions. You show an interest in the people. Am I making sense with this? Yes. Yes, and so you're coming from a different place. And you're able to attract people who ordinarily would not be interested. Because what you want to do is build some powerful relationships with people, and you don't want everybody in your organization. Yes. Some people you want to pass on. Yes. Because it doesn't resonate with you and your energy. Does that make sense? Yes. And so you're watching and you want to evaluate people. They've got to qualify themselves because you're going to be spending time with those people. And so in building an organization, the process of communicating from the heart, and mine was to buy my mother a home because we were raised in a very poor area in Miami, Florida. I was born in an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. And when we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. And being raised in this type of environment, one would look at us and say the chances of us getting out of there would be almost impossible because we're in a drug-infested area, very poor, very, very challenging environment. And I wanted to, as a kid, I wanted to be able to take care of my mother. I wanted to buy her a home. I remember when we were working in these big, beautiful mansions, I said, Mama, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home, just like this. How many have somebody special you want to do something for? Raise your hands, please. And I was able to fulfill that. I bought her a home, 10,000 square feet and 12-foot deep swimming pool, basketball court. She couldn't play basketball. I could still though, but I wanted to do that because I could. And I developed a mindset that allowed me to do that. And so mental resilience in expanding your mindset is very important. Now, I've done some tours with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, his father gave him $200 million to pursue his dream. How many of you know if someone gives you $200 million to pursue your dream, you've got a good shot? Raise your hand. My mama gave us 2 pieces of sugar cane. That's what we have, that sugar cane. Anybody ever had sugar cane? Raise your hand, please, all right? Yeah, you gonna go get some sugar cane when I get through, all right? And so, that's what I had to do. I want to ask a question before I move further. If you had to be coached by me or Donald Trump on how to earn your first million, who would you want to teach you how? I earned it. I earned it. It was not given to me. I earned it. And the great thing about this business that you're in, and with the kind of leadership that you have with John and other leaders, they're going to teach you the skill set and the mindset that will allow you to earn millions and to be able to impact the lives of thousands and millions of people. And as you think about your goals and dreams, let us say together, it's possible.
It's possible.
Yes, I want you to think about someone that you want to do something special for. I want you to think about your financial freedom number. You need to be clear what that is. What is that figure for you that once you earn that you'll be financially free? It would alleviate a lot of stress. I can tell you, it's a wonderful feeling not to owe anyone. It's a wonderful feeling. And so I want you to think about what that number is. Next thing is I want you to think about your legacy. The reason I have my children here is because of the fact that we have things that we want to contribute to. One of the packages you have, one of the causes you support, I believe in. My mother was a 22-year breast cancer conqueror. And so I think that Horace Mann had a point when he said that we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. And so I am who I am because of people who took time with me, people who contributed to me. I never forget, gentlemen, I eulogized him just a few months ago when I first met him. I'll never forget, I was a junior in high school. He said, young man, go to board and work this problem out for me. Oh, sir, I can't do that. Why not? I'm not one of your students. Look at me, yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow. I said, I can't, sir. The other students started laughing. I said, he's Leslie. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley is smart, but he's DT. He said, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And the students erupted in laughter. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk. He looked at me. He said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that was a turning point in my life. On one hand, I was humiliated. But on the other hand, I was liberated because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. And so I learned some strategies and things, and we don't have enough time to go through all of them. But what we will do is to go through some areas that will have some benefit for you right now. So one, I said, resiliency, mental resiliency. Being able to take the no's and the rejections, but also being able to expand your mind to do other things. There are things that you can do that you don't even know now. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. If anybody just told me, I just finished speaking in Switzerland and Germany, in Tokyo, Japan, and 25,000 people in Poland. If anybody told me, given my circumstances, given my beginning, if both my birth parents came in here right now and said, hello, son, I would not know either one of them. If anybody told me that the steps and the processes of things of restructuring your thinking, write this down, restructure your mindset. Because the mindset that we have is a mindset that's been given to us. Be ye not conformed to this world. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that's an ongoing process that allowed me to be able to earn more in 1 hour than 90% of the Western world earn working for 6 years. And I don't tell you that to impress you, but to impress upon you the value of taking the time to listen to things that will begin to restructure your thinking. Most of us are living a life of mediocrity because of the fact that we have so much head trash that we expose ourselves to, that we don't even realize how it affects us and how we show up in life. And so, how many of you know people that you've introduced this business to and they said no? Raise your hands, please. Guess why? Because of their head trash. They're suffering from possibility blindness. They can't see what you see. They don't know that 10 years, less than 10 years from now, 1/3 of the jobs, the Ratner reports, 1/3 of the jobs will be gone, replaced by technology, mechanized intelligence, computers. 1/3 of the jobs that people have. And so they don't realize that in order to become successful and to have financial security, you've got to be willing to reinvent yourself. You got to become a different kind of person. You got to die to who you are now to give birth to who you can become. Does that make sense? Yes. And so I'm saying to you, as you work on yourself, things happen for you that you can't even begin to imagine. The other thing is, I'm going to share something with you. You have a story. You have a story. And your ability to tell your story about this business, what attracted you to this business, is key to your success. Your ability to speak from the heart and to share with people why you're here, why you're involved in this. What is it about this that attracted you? What was it? As you think about that. And as you think about that and speak, and I'm going to share with you techniques and strategies, because I'm going to switch now as a speech coach. Write this down. Never make a point without a story, and never tell a story without a point. Never make a point without a story. When I told you about my mascara, I said the reason I told you that because I now use waterproof mascara. Never make a point without a story, and never tell a story without a point. And so what most people do is that they advance on someone and start telling them about how good the product is. Write this down. When you're doing a presentation, one-on-one, small groups, large groups, people are asking 3 questions in their minds. Here's number 1. Who are you? That's number 1. This is why it's important to know how to tell your story succinctly so that you can develop a level of credibility. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? Who are you? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So now in that critical point, in that short time, you've got to share with them who you are, what you have, and why they should care, in order for them to feel comfortable with you to want to become a part of this. Does that make sense what I'm saying right now? Raise your hand if I'm making sense with you right now. All right, I'm watching the clock, but I want to move faster, so I want to skip through some things. So, as you look at yourself, you look at your goals, the ability to share that can allow you, and something else that John does, and watch him very closely because he's one of the best presenters on the planet. Your ability, I can tell you based upon my own experience, to speaking before small groups, talking to people one-on-one, learning how to communicate from the heart. Trust me on this. It's the most powerful tool you can have. Most powerful tool. Because I was involved years ago in Holiday Magic. You don't know that. That's one of the first multi-level marketing organizations. Dare to be Great. Best Line Products. My doing small meetings. My showing up when no one else showed up. My watching a guy named Bob Boyd and other presenters and Bill Bailey. It helped me to grow as a person, and it allowed me to have the key to my own future. When I was in 5th grade, I was labeled educable mentally retarded and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. I have no college training, but Mr. Washington, he said to me, Mr. Brown, he said, develop your mind. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Mr. Brown, practice and write this down, OQP. OQP, only quality people. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. This is why you want to qualify people to be in your business, because you don't want everybody. And the other thing he said, Mr. Brown, he said, develop your communication skills. Because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. This Les Brown that you now see, this is a Les Brown that been trained. I wanted to learn how I could become a better person. And it was challenging for me. I'll never forget, my brother called me and sister and said, Leslie, we're going to put Mom in a nursing home. Why? She has breast cancer and she can't take care of herself. And I said, no. He said, Leslie, take it easy. We knew you would say that. Listen to me. We have the best nursing home in all of Dade County. I said, no, listen to me. I had a problem. How could one woman raise 7 children who couldn't take care of themselves, but 7 grown people couldn't take care of one woman? You understand what I'm saying? I resigned from the Ohio legislature. I was just elected to my 3rd term as chairman of the Human Resource Committee. I'm telling you, how many of you like to make a difference in your community? Raise your hands. Very good. I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in the world. I became a radio personality, and I'm going to share with you how I used that story to influence and to impact millions of people around the world. And so, write this down. Get a coach. You've got to have somebody in your life who can see what you can't see. Michael Jordan was a championship player, but he didn't win a championship until Phil Jackson came along. Am I right? Muhammad Ali said, I'm the greatest, but he never won a championship without Angelo Dundee. So you got to have somebody in your life who can see what you can't see. And so this guy, this is the reason that you see me now. His name is Mike Williams. Get his book. You can get it on Amazon. The Road to Your Best Stuff. I wrote the foreword to it. He saw me walking down the hall at the radio station, big afro and dashiki, and he said, hey, Brownie. I said, yeah. He said, man, you're more than DJs. Yeah, all right. Let's go. Let's go big, baby, you know. And so this guy, he kept telling me I could be more than a disc jockey. I was #1 at WBKO radio station in Columbus, Ohio, morning personality. And he talked to me about doing other things, speaking to organizations, to clubs. I was speaking in prisons and juvenile detention centers. He said, you can speak for AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric, IBM. I said, me? Come on, Mike. I don't have any college training. I never worked for a major corporation. He said, Brownie, all of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. You can learn. And so as a result of that relationship, he expanded my vision of myself. I began to promote concerts. That's me standing in the back. And we brought these little guys. Good time. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, you have greatness in you. Do that right now. Say, you have greatness in you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea whose hand you just shook. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is it in the heart of mankind what God has in store for that hand that you just shook. And they don't know whose hand they just shook. I didn't know these little guys. I didn't know who they were going to become. And they did not know who I was going to become. That's Michael Jackson standing in front at 10. And so when you think about potential, that you have something special, you have greatness within you. When you're pursuing your greatness, you don't know what your limits are, so you act like you don't have any. And part of being a part of this organization, it's going to challenge you. It's going to stretch you. You're going to discover a part of yourself that you don't know right now. You've got to be willing to die to who you are to give birth to who you can become. And this is hard business. Write this down. H-A-R-D and H-E-A-R-T. Hard. It's hard business. H-A-R-D. All right? And then H-E-A-R-T. I didn't do what I'm doing now for 14 years because I thought it would be hard for me to learn how to dress like the people in corporate America, how to speak the language, to adjust to the culture. I didn't think that I can compete and make myself a credible resource for people with PhDs and MBAs, and I didn't have any of those credentials. And so I didn't do it because it would be hard. Then Mike said, and this is something, write this down, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. See, a lot of people are going to drop out because it's easy to say, oh, this is some pyramid scheme. It's easy to point out all the shortcomings. It's easy to say, I tried and it didn't work. It's easy. Yeah. And so I was willing to challenge myself. That's a different guy there, Les Brown, elected from the 29th House District, beat a 22-year incumbent. I had no idea that Les Brown was in me. There's more in you than you can ever begin to imagine. But what is your why? I wanted to take care of my mother. And so when I resigned from the Ohio legislature to go to Miami, my brothers and sisters thought I was crazy. Leslie, you've been up there for 18 years. You've just been elected for the third term. They're grooming you to run for the Senate and to Congress and statewide office. You're going to walk away from all of that? What will you do? I said, I will figure it out. Let me share something with you. Don't ask yourself how you're going to do it. How is none of your business. Lean not unto thine own understanding, and all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. There are things that you can do that does not fit within logic and reasoning. I'm telling you. But we've been groomed and trained to believe that. There are talents and abilities you have, I'm telling you what I know, that will baffle you. That you will be amazed. And the only way you to discover that greatness within you is you've got to put yourself in a position where you are outside of your comfort zone. Because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. That's how you discover it. Write this down. You will fail. You'll fail your way to success. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. Things are going to happen that you can't anticipate. A lot of people stop because of that. No. That's how you discover who you are. And so when you are willing to face the rejections, when you're willing to train yourself, to drill yourself every day, they're saying words that saying you've got something special, you've got greatness within you. I want to ask you a question. Since I've been talking to you now, how many of you feel stronger? Raise your hands, please. So what happens is, that's what I have to do. I listen. Earl Nightingale, come forth. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. Jim Rohn, come forth. When the end comes to you, let it find you conquering the new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Winston Churchill, speak to us. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it. Ignorance may deride it, but at the end, there it is. All these voices, I listened to them for years. Howard Thurman. There's something in each and every one of you that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever have or hear. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life, your days will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. And I submit to you that you are here today because you've decided no one is going to pull my string. You are here. You are here today because you are different. One great American said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before the master nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. You're here because you are uncommon in pursuit of your dream and your greatness. Give yourselves a round of applause. What drives you? Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow. There's no accident that you're in this room right now. I know at this stage of my life, every seminar I went to, every workshop, all the things that I heard, they affected me. This moment right now, everything that I'm saying, you already know it. It's a part of who you are. You're not branches of the same tree. We're cut from the same cloth. If it weren't so, you would not be in this room. This is a moment for some of you. Some of you couldn't afford to be here. And then a part of you knew you couldn't afford not to be here. And you showed up. You showed up for yourself. You showed up for your dream. And so, Mama's gone. So these are my kids. As John Wesley just said, I'm the youngest. So they speak, they train, they're authors. They now run the business. So this is time for me to pass it to them, and then they will pass it on to my grandchildren. I'm a grandfather and a great-grandfather. You have to look into the future and say, what is it that I'm creating? You know, Jacqueline Onassis said, if I earn all the money in the world and my kids don't amount to anything, what have I done? It's not what you put, it's not what you give your kids, it's what you put in your kids that makes all the difference in the world. Write this down. Create partnerships. I saw Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, and I admired him. He wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. I admired him because of his oratorical skills and how he spoke from this diaphragm. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. You have been stopped because of the negative thoughts that you have embraced. You have the power to change that. I never forget, I was backstage in Chicago, and he was up in age, a young guy said, Dr. Peale, how old are you? He said, Sonny, I'm 92. The guy said, I don't know if I want to live to get 92. He said, that's because you've never been 91. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so the thing is that, but I wanted to write this down. Relationship capital. Relationship capital. This is why you don't want everybody in your business. You want to evaluate them and see if they possess the qualities that you're looking for. You look at them and observe them. And it's amazing when you emphasize and you begin to realize that when you become selective of the kinds of people you surround yourself with, it will affect you. There's something in psychiatry now called relationship illness. There's some people that can make you sick. Well, can I change him? No, it's a full-time job changing yourself. So you've got to ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me? What is it doing to me? Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually and financially? What is it doing to me? That's major. I had to change my life. I had to change my relationships in order for me to go where I wanted to go. And it changed my income. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people that will never achieve their goals because they're surrounded by too many toxic, negative, energy-draining people in their lives. And so you've got to ask yourself, is this relationship working for me? See, the relationship might be working for them, but is it working for you? There are people who are always there when they need you. But when you need them, you can't find them. I want to ask you a question. I want you to be honest. How many of you know, if you had your life to live over again, you could have done more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hand first. Very good. Repeat after me, please. Live full.
Live full.
Die empty.
Die empty.
I was dealing with the issue of the little c. That's how I refer to cancer. And the doctors had said that it metastasized to the bone. And I was reading material that I find encouraging. Dr. Howard Thurman, who was a mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Albert Schweitzer, Mahatma Gandhi, brilliant man. He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never used those talents. You never used those gifts. We never saw your leadership. We never heard your voice. And there they are, standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you. And only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams? What ideas? What talents? What books? What art? What music? What voice will die with you? A very good friend just passed recently in a plane crash, Miles Monroe. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery. Because there you find potential never realized. There you find dreams never pursued. There you find gifts and abilities that people didn't use because of fear, because of what people thought. Maybe that's why the woman said, what if you live your whole life only to discover that it was wrong? That it was wrong. Maybe that's why Henry David Thoreau said, oh God, to reach the point of death only to realize that you've never lived. only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential. Everybody say again, please. Live full.
Live full.
Die empty.
Die empty.
Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, I'm ready to play a bigger game. I'm ready to play a bigger game. College education, raise your hands, please. Oh, that's over 90%. How many have ever given a lecture at Harvard? Raise your hands. Take someone down on your right and left and say, that's on my list now. That's on my list. Everybody, point at me right now. Point at me right now. Say, Les Brown. If you can do it, I can do it.
I can do it.
And when you say, I can do it, I want you to say it with conviction. Point at me again. Say, Les Brown. If you can do it, I can do it. And I see that for you. I want to do one thing. If you don't do anything else, I want you to do this. This is very important. Pull up your right index finger, please. Put it in your ear. Listen to me. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You're in this room because this is your time. This is a breakthrough moment for you. You have the ability to do more than you could ever begin to imagine. There are people waiting for you, waiting to hear your voice. They're part of your spiritual tribe. You have the ability to move and motivate and inspire people to pursue their greatness. This is a new beginning. This is a new day for you. There are $1 million ideas in you that's ready to be birthed. Take your finger up now. The reason I had you to do that, I didn't want it to go in one ear and come out the other. Oh, it's in there now. I'm going to make you rich and there's nothing you can do about it. Huh? I spoke there 4 times now. I've got a fifth invitation to go there and lecture. And I remember the first time I was so intimidated. And Mike was with me. He said, Les, why are you nervous? I said, I'm at Harvard, man. Mike? He said, Les, they came to see you. You didn't come to see me. That's why it's important to have someone who can see some things in you that you can't see in yourself. And so I've had nationally syndicated television shows. I've won all kind of awards. And how many of you ever heard Toastmasters? Raise your hands. I won their Golden Gavel Award, Toastmasters, one of the highest awards for the National Speakers Association. And they selected the top 5 speakers in the world. Now I want you to remember the little boys. They were holding the sugar cake. It was General Norman Schwarzkopf and Leon Coker, Robert Schuller, Paul Harvey, and you see that little guy there. They used to hold that sugar cake, you know. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, I'm ready to go big. I'm ready to go big. Why is it that we're not doing it automatically? Because we live in a world where we're told more about our limitations rather than our potential. How many have ever been told what you can't do? Raise your hands first. They did a study, MIT, and the study indicated, if I say to you, John, you can't do that, somebody else has to come along and say, John, you can do it, John, 17 times to neutralize that one time. That's why my favorite book says, faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. To reprogram my mind, to override the viruses that's in our minds that we don't know, that's affecting us every day. Every day. When the doctor looked at me and said, you have cancer. It was the most feared word in 7 different languages. And Dr. Julie Van Putten, when we came out of Florida Hospital, she looked at me, she stopped, and she looked me in the eye, she said, we're going to beat this. And when she said it, I felt it at the cellular level. My PSA, which stands for prostate specific antigen, was 2,400 at that time. And now it's 0. So write this down. Surround yourself with people who see it for you. She saw the healing for me. She spoke. And when she spoke, I felt it and I believed it. And many times people never achieve their goals because they have too much negative energy around them that's buying into the conversations that they hear. No. In fact, I don't believe the doctor should tell people that they're terminally ill. I think what they should say is, my knowledge and ability to help you has terminated. And now you need to explore some other options. Does that make sense? Yes. Now, so as you look at yourself, look at your goals, put your hand over your heart, put your right hand over your heart, please.
This is my time.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Because I'm responding.
Because I'm responding
to my higher self.
to my higher self.
I have dreams.
I have dreams.
I have things I must do.
I have things I must do.
There's a higher calling on my life.
There's a higher calling on my life.
There are people who believe in me.
There are people who believe in me.
Who are looking to me.
Who are looking to me.
And I believe in myself.
And I believe in myself.
This is my moment.
This is my moment.
There's greatness in me.
There's greatness in me.
I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, bring out the greatness that's in you. Do that right now. I want to share with you the power of a story. The power of a story. Mike said, Brownie, yes? You left Ohio. You're down there taking care of your mother. Yes, I admire that. He said, what's your next move? I said, I'm not sure. My brothers and sisters told me I was stupid for doing what I did. He said, think, Brownie, think. You always challenge me to think. You want people in your life who will hold you to a higher standard, and he will challenge you to think. And he said, Brownie. I said, yes. You got something, man. I said, I do? Yeah. So what I have? Hey, you got a story. Why don't you write this down? My story has value. Yes, your story has value. I said, what do you mean? How did you get in radio? I said, when Mr. Washington asked what I wanted to do, I told him I wanted to buy my mother a home. He said, how are you going to do that? I said, I was going to go into radio. I was going to become a disc jockey. He said, what happened? I went to the radio station to apply for a job. What happened? He said, well, the man told me no. He said, what happened then? I went back the next day. He said, why'd you do that? Because I was serious. He said, what happened then? He told me no. I said, why'd you do then? I came back the next day. He said, the man already told you no twice. I said, I know, man. I said, but I was hungry. And he said, what happened? He told me no. I said, Brownie? He said, Brownie, that's your story. That's my story? Yeah. All you need to do now, I'm going to show you how you can tell this story. And write this down. And create value and experience for an audience. When you're speaking to someone on the telephone, one-on-one, small groups, the key, as you tell the story about yourself, the key as you tell the story about the company and the products, is to create value for the person that's on the telephone. Create value for them. And so that they can see themselves in the story and take ownership for the story. And so, with the coaching, it changed my life. Everybody repeat after me, please. You got to be hungry.
You gotta be hungry.
Mr. Washington said, what do you want to do, young man? Sir, I I'd like to buy my mother a home. How do you plan to do that? I'd like to become a disc jockey. He said, you got to be hungry. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, people that are hungry are unstoppable. People that are hungry are relentless. People that are hungry believe that they can achieve their goals and they work on themselves. Mr. Brown, I said, I'm hungry, Mr. Washington. All my life, people compared me to my brother. Always. And my sister who graduated from the University of Miami. And because it takes me longer to learn things than most people, they always made fun of me. You're the only person that just looked at me as a person. You never called me dumb, you never called me stupid, you always made me feel special. And I believe I can do this. He said, good. He said, I want you to continue to work on your mind. Practice OQP, only quality people. And be conscious of your conversation. Speak from the heart. Be conscious of how you relate to people. I said, yes, sir. And then I came a few weeks later. He said, I've done all I can do for you. It's on you now, Mr. Brown. Go out into the marketplace. I went to WMBM radio station on Miami Beach. Milton Butterball Smith was the program director. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. Young man, you have your journalism in your background? No, sir, I don't, but I practice all the time, and I visualize and I see myself behind the microphone. Let me audition for you, sir. Let me show you how good I am. All I want is some shots, sir. He said, I'm sorry, we don't have any job for you. How many of you have been rejected? Raise your hands, please. I was devastated with rejection. I went back and I said, Mr. Washington, they said no. He said, don't take it personally. Most people are so negative, they have to say no 7 times before they say yes. He said, you got to be hungry. Go back again. I went back again. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. I know your name. Weren't you here yesterday? Yes, sir, I was. Didn't I tell you no yesterday? Yes, sir, you did. Then why are you back today? Well, sir, I don't know whether or not somebody was laid off or somebody was fired, sir. No one was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here. I came back the next day, talking loud, looking happy, like I was singing for the first time. I said, hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I like to be disc jockey. I know what your name is. Weren't you here the last 2 days? Yes, sir. Didn't I tell you no the last 2 days? Yes, sir. Then why are you back today? Well, sir, I don't know whether or not someone got sick or someone died, sir. No one got sick or died. No one was laid off or fired. Now, don't you come back here again. I came back the next day. Talking loud, looking happy, like I was singing for the first time. I said, hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you? He looked at me with rage. He said, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. My favorite book says, the greatest among you will be your servant. How many of you are serious about reaching your goals? Raise your hands, please. Very good. Write this down. Provide more service than you get paid for. Provide more service than you get paid for. John was right, it's relationship marketing. Get to know the people, ask them key questions, find out their dreams. What is it that motivates them? What is it that keeps them up at night? What is it that excites them? What do they want? Who are they? Let them know who you are. And so I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. I'd go get their lunch and their dinner. I just tried to get my foot in the door to let them know who I was. I wanted to be a go-to person. And then I found out something. When you are willing to give of yourself, when you're willing to give before you ask, people begin to look at you differently. And they begin to trust you. And so one weekend, the disc jockeys came out to the parking lot. Their cars were clean and waxed, inside out. They said, hey, who did this? I did, sir. How much do you charge, young man? Oh, nothing, sir. I just wanted to help out. Wow. He said, look here, Dinah Ross and the Supremes are coming to town. The Four Tops and the Temptations. here are my car keys. Pick them up and take them to the Fontainebleau Hotel on Miami Beach, and I'll take care of you. I said, be my pleasure, sir. I would drive these entertainers all over Miami Beach in the disc jockeys, Bigelow and Cadillacs. I didn't have any driver's license, but I was driving. Then one day, it was a Saturday afternoon, a disc jockey by the name of Rockin' Roger was drinking while he was on the air. Rockin' Roger got so drunk he could not complete the show. He began to stumble his words. He was about to fall off the chair. Saturday afternoon, I was the only one there. Looking at him through the control room window, walking back and forth. Young, ready, and hungry. I was saying, drink, rock, drink. Drink, rock. Gotta go and get him some more if it asks me to. Then pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager, and I answered the phone. I said, hello? He said, young boy, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn on the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I waited for about 20 minutes and I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and segue the records. Don't you say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get old Rock out of the way. I put on a fast record. I said, look out, this is me, LB, Triple P. Les Brown, your platter playing Papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, dutifully qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. People that are hungry, believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that is overcrowded. People that are hungry know if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. People that are hungry understand that you will feel your way to success. People that hungry believe it's possible that they can live their dreams and that it's necessary, it's not an idle wish, and that it's them, and that it's hard, and that it's worth it. You're here because there is something in you that refuses to be denied. Something in you that says, I can do more, I can have more, I can experience more. There's something in you. Others said no. Your heart said yes. Something in you. We can separate those type of people. People raised in the same family, same parents, same circumstances, and end up being dramatically different. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. That's interesting. I believe this is a breakthrough moment for most of you. How many of you feel that for yourself? Raise your hand. Yes. Dr. Julie? Yes. We have up front, there's something I'm going to do. Everyone who gets the program out front, it's called Choose Your Future, and Worst Stages to Greatness, in John Wesley's program, my leadership shift with my children. What I'm going to do is make sure you leave your phone number and address
us an email, because there's a program I do called How to Tell Your Story. How many like to learn how to tell your story? Good. Make sure you leave that. It's going to be a webinar. And so I will share with you methods and techniques that I've learned that allow me to earn 7 figures doing what I love to do. How many of you love changing people's lives? Raise your hands. Oh, very good. That's what it requires. See, people think information can do it. If information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. Am I right? You know, stories are powerful. They're powerful. And I had no idea that I would be doing what I'm doing now. But that's my gift, teaching you how to tell your story. And write it down, create an experience. See, you have an energy signature. And you have a spiritual tribe. There are certain people, when I speak, they're going to hear me. But there are certain people, when you speak, they're going to hear you because they're part of your spiritual tribe. Most people don't take the time to invest in themselves. But I was willing to do it because I was hungry. And so, as you think about your goals and dreams, I'd like to leave this with you. I don't know what you want to do. I'm so honored to be able to be on a platform for John, who I consider one of the great motivators on the planet. Give him another round of applause. Come on, you can do better than that. I love and admire you. I'm so glad it's our first time. This is the beginning of a long friendship. Appreciate you. And I love the energy in this room. I like to leave this with you. Don't lose the hunger for new life. It's no accident that you're in this room. Listen to your heart. Where your heart is, there your treasure is also. And I like to leave something with you that my mother used to love to hear me say. Leslie, yes, now, Mama. Say that thing for me, boy, that makes me feel good. And I'll see you out front with my kids at the table. And make sure you leave your information so you can be on this webinar. It's going to change your life. Cover a lot of things that I couldn't cover now. But I want to leave this with you, that Mama loved. Say it, Leslie. Yes, ma'am, Mama, I will. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, for all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it. And if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gold, sickness and pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, you'll get it. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. It's been a plum-pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. God bless you. God bless your dream. God bless America.
The truth of the matter is that most people don't realize that the majority of people suffer their first major heart attack on Monday morning between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like, jobs that are making them sick. What is it that you could love doing 7 days a week that'll bring a smile to your face? Think about that. You've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential.
Les Brown's business is changing lives. He touches thousands of people each year. He talks to Fortune 500 companies and to personal development groups about how to find success and fulfill your dreams. In essence, his best message is himself, because Les Brown knows what it is to have come up the hard way. Les and his twin brother were adopted at the age of 6 weeks by Miss Mamie Brown, a single woman with little money and a big heart. The boys grew up in the low-income area of Liberty City outside Miami, Florida. In the 5th grade, Les was mistakenly labeled EMR, educably mentally retarded, and he became a child nobody thought would amount to anything. After making it through high school, Les set out to prove them wrong. He started on the radio, moved to Ohio, and made himself a local star as a fast-talking disc jockey. He soon became an influential community spokesman. Then he ran for the Ohio State Legislature, where he served 3 terms and became chairman of its Human Resources Committee. Les Brown is now a nationally acclaimed motivational speaker who's taught thousands of people the techniques he's used to overcome the obstacles he's faced in his own life.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You guys look like you're ready. Repeat after me, please. This is my decade.
This is my decade.
You know, every year I used to say, this is my year. But ladies and gentlemen, one good year won't be enough for me. How many of you can use a good decade? Raise your hands, please. Fantastic. All right, now, here's what I want to do. I want to share with you how you can begin to make this your decade. How many of you know within yourself, if you ask yourself the question, have I done all that I'm capable of doing or being and living up to my potential? How many of you have to really answer, no, I have not done all that I can do? Raise your hands, please. Okay, very good. Now, here's what we know. That people don't do what they know in life, but what they do is they operate within the context of the vision they have of themselves. So what I want to share with you is how to begin to get a larger vision of yourself and how to begin to make this your decade. Because in order to do that, it's going to be very challenging. It's going to require a lot of work on your part, an ongoing process of personal and professional self-mastery. And it's going to require that you begin to see yourself worthy of the requirements in terms of effort, in terms of commitment, in terms of action, in terms of preparation, or whatever it is that you need to do in order to take your life where you want to take it. So one of the first things I ask you to do is I want you to look at your life right now. And think about something that's important to you, something that gives your life a sense of value. Think about something that you'd like to have, or something you'd like to create for you or your family or for society. I want you to hold this thought in mind. Now, one of the first things I want you to do is don't worry about the inner conversation that you're going to have. Don't worry about how you're going to do it. That's going to come. You're going to develop a plan of action. You will find the way. You'll become the kind of person that can attract the people, the resources, and everything you need in order to make that become reality. But I want you to be mindful of your inner conversation. I remember once I was sitting in an audience, and Zig Ziglar, who I consider one of the greatest motivational speakers on the planet, he was giving a speech. And I was out in the audience, and I saw him going back and forth, and within myself I said, I'd like to do that. I can do that. And I leaned over to the guy next to me. I said, how much do they pay him to do that? And he said, $5,000. I said, I know I can do that. And I admired him. And then on the way home, when I was driving from Tampa, Florida, back to Miami, Florida, my inner conversation kicked in. And it said, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have the money. You don't have the contacts. You've never worked for a major corporation. What makes you think that you can make more in 1 hour talking than you've made working for a whole month? Now, I want to ask you a question. How many of you have ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talked you out of it? Raise your hand, please. That inner conversation, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason that most people take their greatness, take their ideas to the graveyard with them. You know, the wealthiest place on the planet, a minister said recently, and it was so true, is not the gold mines in the various areas of the world or the diamond mines. The wealthiest place on the planet is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard we will find inventions that we never ever were exposed to. ideas, dreams that never became reality, hopes and aspirations that were never acted upon. Because most people allow that inner conversation, for whatever reason, to keep them from ever pursuing their goals. So let us begin to look at what's required in order to make this our decade. Why is it that most people don't ever reach their goals or live up to their true potential? One is fear. And there are only two kinds of fears that we're born with: the fear of falling and the fear of a loud sound. All other fears we learn, like the fear of failure. The next is the fear of success. That's one of the major challenges I had to deal with. I was working on a major project, and after it began to grow and it was extremely successful, I panicked and I walked away from it and gave it to someone else because I didn't believe that I could handle it. The other thing that keeps most people from reaching their goals is that a lot of people become comfortable. They stop growing. They stop wanting anything. They become satisfied. They stop looking at ways in which they can improve themselves. They stop putting things in front of them. I was reading something by a great man, George Bernard Shaw, and he said something to the effect that to have succeeded is to have finished one's business on earth. Like the male spider who is killed by the female spider the moment he has succeeded in his courtship. And he goes on to say, I like a state of continual becoming with a goal in front and not behind. I remember after giving a speech at a major corporation, a gentleman came up to me who was up in years, and he said, you know, that's real great motivation for you young guys, but I've done all my work. There's nothing else for me to do. I said, oh, yes. You've got a lot to give. You have a lot to offer. The fact that you're still here means that your business is not through yet. The other thing that keeps us from reaching our goal is not feeling worthy. That's where a lot of people get stuck. Because see, when you don't feel worthy of your goal, you'll begin to unconsciously engage in self-destructive behavior, like procrastinating, constantly putting things off, squandering your time, and that's what life is made of. Something else that keeps us from reaching our goal, and that is many times because we spend so much time complaining and blaming everybody or everything. I'm reminded of a friend of mine who talked about the fact that one day he was walking by this house and some people were sitting on a porch, and there was a dog on the porch, and this dog was just moaning and groaning. So he was curious, and he asked the owner, he said, why is this dog moaning and groaning? And the owner said, because he's laying on a nail. He said, well, why doesn't he get off? He said, it's not hurting bad enough for him to get off. How many of you know people who moan and groan and complain about life all the time, all right? They might moan and groan about their job. I'm sick of this job. I'm sick of you. And they just moan and groan and complain all the time and never do anything about it. They haven't got to the point where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They just have enough energy to complain about it, and they consider that, in fact, they believe that that's equivalent to doing something about it, just complaining. No, that can't get you where you want to go. That cannot create your reality for you. The other thing that keeps most people from realizing their true greatness and their true potential, circumstances, their environment. There are many people who believe because of where they're born, because of the area where they are in life and where they find themselves, that's all they know. Given my circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. See, I know something about you, even not knowing you, that you've got greatness within you. You have the ability to do things that you can't even begin to imagine. You have talents and skills in you that you haven't even begun to reach for yet. No one could have convinced me, given my circumstances, given my background, that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. I was born in Liberty City on a floor on 62nd Street, my twin brother and me. When we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted. When I was in 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable mentally retarded, and put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade, and stayed in that category until I got out of high school. I have no college training, but here's what happened. I had an intervention in my life. A man who saw something in me at a time that I did not see something in myself. I never forget being in his class one day waiting on a friend of mine who was there to rehearse for a play. He did not show up, and he asked me to go up to the board and write something on the board. And I said, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I said, well, I'm in a special education class. He said, what do you mean? I said, go up to the board and write what I'm about to tell you. I said, I can't do that, sir. Why not? I'm educable, mentally retarded. And he came from behind his desk. He said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that changed my life. It was Oliver Wendell Holmes who said that once a person's mind is expanded with an idea or a concept, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So some of you are going to experience a breakthrough. Some of you are going to go back and look at your dreams and brush them off. Some of you are going to begin to look at yourself and say, hey, look here, I know I have not done all that I can do. Whatever goal that you have in mind, I want that to be a goal that will challenge you, something that will make you stretch. It was Osborne who said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it, that you talk yourself out of it? Whatever it is, bring it back out there. How you're going to do it, that will come to you in due time. So you don't get in life what you want, ladies and gentlemen. You get in life what you are, not what you want. And see, the good news is that we can always become more by working to develop ourselves. So the first process of making this your decade, you've got to begin to take a look at your life and look at where are you right now? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What gives your life a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy? What does a full, rich life means to you? What is it that you could love doing 7 days a week that'll bring a smile to your face? Think about that. In all the areas of your life, your professional life, your personal life, your family life, your spiritual life, what is it that you'd like to have? Once you begin to determine that, that takes you to the next step. And that is, once you decide what it is that you want, now you've got to decide that you deserve that. Repeat after me, please. I deserve that life has to offer. I deserve to find my purpose in life. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, find your purpose. Do you know by actively pursuing your purpose, it could perhaps extend your life? The number one killer in this country of all the diseases we have, heart disease. That's the number one killer. And if you ask most people, when is it that the majority of people have their first major heart attack? Some people will tell you as a result of obesity, or smoking cigarettes, or high cholesterol, or high blood pressure. And all of those are contributing factors. However, the truth of the matter is that most people don't realize that the majority of people suffer their first major heart attack on Monday morning between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like, jobs that are making them sick. You see, when you're not pursuing your goal, you are literally committing spiritual suicide. When you have some goal out here that you're stretching for and reaching for that takes you out of your comfort zone, you'll find out some talents and abilities you have that you didn't know you have. I started speaking just to elementary school kids because I knew they didn't know what I was talking about. And they gave me all kind of standing ovation. We like you, yeah. Then I graduated up to junior high school and then to senior high school and then to various community groups and church groups and civic associations and then to colleges and to businesses. Now I'm traveling across the country and then traveling nationally and internationally. But I never would have discovered what I'm able to do right now if I wasn't willing to take a chance. And you've got to be willing to do that. You've got to believe in yourself. I was doing work for a major corporation and they were having a major downsizing. Just another terminology for major firings. And so the people that were working there, they approached them and said, listen, you are eligible for early retirement. We will give you a buyout package of $300,000 if you take it within this time frame. However, after this time frame, when we have the downsizing, you might be among the people cut and you will lose all of the benefits that we're talking about right now, and the most you can get is 2 weeks severance pay. Ladies and gentlemen, only 50% of the people that were eligible took this. Let me tell you something. If I'd been there, I'd have gone to ask for your check. Listen, Marvin told me to get his check. He's home with his mama. What? I would have taken that money so quick and had other people checks. They said, Les got your check. See, ladies and gentlemen, life is too short trying to play it safe. It's too short and unpredictable, being miserable. It's too short for that. Here's the thing. There's no safe position in life. Let me tell you why. It's a quiet secret that most people don't realize. You can't get out of life alive. Hello, you can't get out of life alive. So there's no safe position. You can die in the bleachers or you can die on the field. You might as well come out on the field and have a good time, right? So if you want to make this your decade, you've got to decide to be bold. See, you got to be bold in life. You got to take life on. I remember I was at a major corporation. I had to give a presentation, and there were two guys sitting across from me, and the guy said to the other fellow, looking at the last two finalists, and that involved my firm and their firm, said, listen, looking at the credentials, this guy doesn't have any credentials. We have an advantage here. We've got 2 PhDs between us. I got up and I went in the bathroom and started talking to myself. I said, Les Brown, what do you care about their 2 PhDs? You have 6 children and a mama to take care of. And I went in that meeting, and first of all, I went there walking bold, looking good, feeling good, and smelling good, all right? And I sat across that table and we started negotiating, and I operated in a spirit of absolute certainty. I looked at them as if the only reason that they were born was to give me that contract. They survived 1 out of 9 million sperms to carry out this transaction. And I got the contract. Hello. So you've got to decide to be bold. Most people go through life trying to creep. No, no, no. Trying to be casual about it. No, no, no. You go through life being casual, you'll end up a casualty. No. You've got to be bold in life. You've got to take life on. Now here's something. You've got to be bold in life. You've got to take life on. Now here's something else. You must be positive. See, a lot of people, when things don't happen when they want it to happen, they become negative. And they turn out and start projecting a lot of negative energy. No, no, you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to be positive. Because see, when you know within yourself things are going to work out for you, when you know within yourself that some way, somehow, you're going to make it, and these are just some of the hoops you've got to flip through in order to get there, it's okay. Have a friend who went to get a job, and the people didn't hire him. He was so negative. Well, hey, to hell with you then. Wait a minute. They just don't have a job today. Don't burn your bridges behind you. Don't talk about the guy's mama. Come on. All right. Oh. Now, here's the last thing. If you want to reach your goal and have the competitive edge, you've got to be hungry. A lot of people love me to tell this story. When I got out of school, you know, my first major goal was to buy my mother a home, and my hero in broadcasting was Paul Harvey, and I wanted to become involved in broadcasting, and I loved the disc jockeys that were on the air, and I wanted to become a disc jockey. And Mr. Washington said something to me that I'll never forget, who was my mentor in high school. Repeat this. Whitney Young is this quote: "It's better to be prepared, for an opportunity, and not have one, than to have an opportunity and not be prepared." See, so I started working to develop my communication skills and expand my vocabulary. I started visualizing myself being a disc jockey. I saw myself on there having a talk show and playing records and people listening to me. That was my vision. That was my dream. I held that in mind constantly. And I would practice all the time. Practice makes what? Absolutely not. Just dislodge that from your mind. Practice only makes improvement. Perfection doesn't exist. They need to take it out of the dictionary. It doesn't exist. Practice only makes improvement. You can always better your best. You have not done your best work yet. As long as you're here, you have a chance to transcend yourself. So don't believe in perfection. It doesn't exist. It only makes improvement. So I would practice every day. And finally, I went over to this radio station, asked a guy for a job named Mr. Butterball, and I said, how you doing, sir? I'd like to get a job. I was working on Miami Beach at the Fontainebleau Hotel at the time. The Jackie Gleason and the June Taylor dances were famous. And my favorite program on television, most people would not remember, John Beresford Tipton. Hi, my name is Michael Anthony. I have a check for $1 million. How many of you remember that program, all right? The Millionaire, that was my favorite program on television, you know. So this is my fantasy, you know, and every time we would drive from Miami Beach, I would fantasize, oh, that's the house. When I get my million, I'm going to buy my mother that home over there. So that's my fantasy. So I went up to Mr. Butterball, and he said, do you have any radio experience? I said, no, sir. You have any background in journalism? I said, no, sir. I said, but I can never get experience if you don't give me the opportunity. I've been practicing a lot, sir. He said, I'm sorry, we don't have any job for you. I said, thank you, sir. He didn't know my reasons for being there. My reason, I wanted to use radio as a means to earn the money to buy my mother a home. I went back to the radio station again. I said, how you doing, Mr. Butterball? My name is Les Brown. I know your name. Didn't I just see you here yesterday? I said, yes, sir. I said, y'all have any jobs here? Didn't I tell you yesterday we didn't have any jobs? Yes, sir, but I thought maybe somebody got fired or resigned. I didn't know, sir. I went the next day. How you doing, Mr. Butterball? He said, yes. And I just didn't take it personal. How you doing? So y'all have any jobs here? Didn't I just tell you yesterday and the day before we didn't have any work? Well, I thought maybe somebody died, sir. I didn't know. I went the next day, showed up like nothing was wrong, like I saw him for the first time. How you doing, Mr. Butterball? Y'all having it? He said, boy, make yourself useful. Go get me some food. I said, yes, sir. See, many times when you want more, you've got to be willing to pay your dues. So I became their errand boy. I would get their lunch and their dinner and all kind of food for them. After a while, I would take the food to them in the control room, and I would not leave until they would ask me to, and I'd watch them working the controls, and I'd memorize their hand movements. And pretty soon, they would trust me with their cars to go pick up entertainers that came into town, entertainers like Sam Cooke, Dinah Ross and the Supremes, the Four Tops and the Temptations. I would drive them all over Miami Beach in the disc jockeys' cars. I didn't have any driver's license, but I was driving like I had something. Finally, one day I was at the radio station, and a guy by the name of Rock was drinking while he was on the air. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was the only one there. None of the other jocks were available. And I was looking at him through the control room window, saying, drink, Rock, drink. Drink, Rock. I'd have gone to get him some more if he'd asked me to. Drink, Rock. Pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager. I said, hello? He said, Les, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs to come in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I waited for about 20 minutes, and I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, do you know how to segue the records? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put the headphones on. I said, look out, this is me, LB, Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. You feel better when you are able to have charge of your destiny, doesn't it? Gives you a good feel. Gives you choices. You can do more things. See, my first major goal was to buy my mother a home. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. And I said to my mama one day, I said, Mama, when I become a man, I'm going to buy you a home. And you won't have to go to work every day. You won't have to work. You just sit down, Mama. She was getting up, getting dressed to go to M&M cafeteria. I was just following her around. I said, watch, Mama. One day you won't have to leave here to go to work no more. It's raining outside. You won't have to go to work in the rain. You just do what you want to do. Like stay home and fix me sweet potato pie. My mama fixed the kind of sweet potato pie you can't eat with your shoes on. You have to take your shoes off so you can wiggle your toes, all right? But that was my dream. That was my passion. I saw that, and that drove me. That was my reason for being. So one of the things, in order to make this your decade, in order to reach your goals, you've got to find some reasons that make you strong, some reasons that will make you hang in there when times get rough, because they're going to get rough. It's going to be very challenging. Whenever you decide that you want to grow, whenever you decide that you want to go to another level, all hell will break loose. Everything that will happen, rather that can happen, will happen, and at the worst possible moment. They call it Murphy's Law. See, whenever you decide that you want to go to another vibration, it's like when you get into an airplane. The first thing they tell you to do is do what? Fasten your seatbelt. Because you're going to experience some turbulence when you're going up. And some of you are already experiencing that turbulence. Don't be frightened by that. See, whenever you decide you want to go to another level, you've got to fasten your psychological, your mental, and your spiritual seatbelt. Because there's going to be a while before you experience a comfortable altitude. You're going to get there. It's there. But you've got to go through this phase here. This is how you grow. This is how you develop. See, life is like a roller coaster. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes things go well, and sometimes they don't go well. But in the down moments, that's when you discover who you are. During the down moments, see, in this prosperous time, you put it in your pocket. In the lean times, you put it in your heart. And that's when you discover who you are. So find 5 reasons that empower you. Why is it that you deserve your goal? What are the 5 reasons that you won't give up when life catches you on the blind side? When the messenger of misery visits you, what are you going to do? What will keep you in the game when life knocks you to the canvas? See, the Buster Douglas that fought in the last fight was not the Buster Douglas that fought Mike Tyson. See, the Buster Douglas that got knocked down while fighting Mike Tyson had gotten out of an alcohol recovery center. His mother had died. His wife was ill with a terminal illness. He was considered a nothing, a bum. So when he got knocked down, Buster Douglas had a reason to get back up, because he said, I'm dedicating this fight to the memory of my mama. But when he fought the last fight that he had, and he got knocked down, and he had a guaranteed $24 million in his pocket, whether he got up or not, he just said, hurry up and count me out. And I don't blame him. Why get hurt? He said, no, why'd you leave so soon? Somebody's about to get hurt, me. So you got to have some reasons that when life knocks you down, and it's going to. Hello, it's going to knock you down. When people disappoint you, and that's going to happen. When they betray you, and that's going to happen. When they lie to you, and that's going to happen. When they say, oh, you can count on me, and they won't show up, and that's going to happen. When you want to throw in the towel and give up yourself, and that's going to happen. When life collapses on you and catch you on the blind side, it drop you to your knees and start choking you. You got a dream? No, I ain't got no dream. And that's going to happen. What reason can you remember that you can call on, that you can reach on, that can make you get back up? Find that reason. Because when life had knocked me down, I said, life, I'm doing this because I want to make my mama proud of me. I'm doing this because I want my children to have a better life than what I had. I'm doing this because all my life I've been told I'd be a loser, that I wouldn't make it. All my life I heard people say, maybe take them back to the welfare department. I'm doing this to make them a lie. I believe, like Frank Sinatra, he said, the best revenge in life is massive success. I'm doing this so I can become massively successful. And with that kind of courage, with that kind of affirmation and reason to empower me, I got a saying that when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. All right? So when you run out of money, when things don't work out for you, when things happen that you could not anticipate, what are the reasons that you can think of that can keep you strong, that can keep you in the game, that will be your rod and staff to comfort you, that can be your bridge over troubled waters? Those reasons are very important. Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow. So find out the reasons that you do what you do. Find out the reasons that will make you strong, that will make you walk by faith and not by sight, that will make you pursue your dream when everybody is against you or don't believe in you no more. And let me tell you something, that's a lonely feeling. It's a lonely feeling, particularly people that you're doing it for, or people that stand to benefit the most, or people who should be the #1 members in the encouragement club, but they end up saying, you can't do it, and they become members of the discouragement club. Oh, it hurts very badly. I know what that's like. Have people that you love close to you that look at you with that look and say, why don't you try something else? Why don't you give up? I said, but this is my life. I have got to do this. Les, you had a good job at Sears. That man like you. Mama, I can't go back to Sears. I got to be my own boss. I can't do that. I mean, you know, ladies and gentlemen, you know, when you work on a job that's dead end, you can see the ceiling already. It's like going in the middle of a movie. And after you've seen the movie, sitting back through that over again, there's something missing. You know the hero's not going to die. You know what the outcome is already. And so that's why a lot of people, a lady was telling me, she said when she went to work, it felt like a refrigerator fell on her shoulder as soon as she stepped in. Because she knew she'd gone as far as she could go. See, they're paying her just enough to keep her from quitting, and she's worked just hard enough just to keep from getting fired. How many of you know people like that? Raise your hand. The ones of you didn't raise your hand, you the one. I'll just tease it, all right? Here's something else. Make a commitment to be happy. See, you know, I have you laughing a lot. See, life is too short going through it looking hopeless, tired, and ugly. Sometimes we take life too seriously. Oh, no. Make a commitment to be happy. Find little things just to get tickled about. And laugh. Find ways to be happy in the moment. A lot of people say, well, I'll be happy when I pay off all my bills. No. I'll be happy when I get my divorce. Oh, no. I'll be happy with the children gone. Oh, no. You want to be happy now. See, there are no guarantees. No one say you're going to be here 2, 3, or 4 years from now. So you want to be happy right now, in the moment. Repeat after me. I must make a commitment. To be happy. Right now. Right now. Is all I got. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, you deserve to be happy. Make a commitment to be happy, because life now has new meaning for you. Just enjoying the sunset, or just looking at life, or looking at nature, going for a walk. It's the little things in life that counts. Here's something else that you want to begin to do in order to make this your decade. You want to begin to get all the toxic people out of your life. Hello? Energy drainers, get them out of your life. See, ladies and gentlemen, it takes a lot of energy to reach your goal. It takes a lot of emotional, mental, and spiritual energy to reach your goal. And you can run faster with 100 who want to go than with one around your neck. So there are two kinds of relationships. Sid Simon talks about this. Nourishing relationships and toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships are the relationships that inspire you. They motivate you. They bring the best out of you. Toxic relationships are relationships with people that always criticize you. All they can do is find fault. All they can do is just exploit your weaknesses. All they can do is remind you of the mistakes that you've made in the past. These people are bad for your health. Toxic people can run your blood pressure up. One apple can spoil a whole barrel. One negative energy drainer can spoil your whole life. I know people whose lives have been ruined because somebody wasn't good for them. See, there are some people that aren't good for you. Hello? They aren't good for you. You've got to get them out of your life. See, a lot of people put up with a lot of foolishness because they don't want to die by themselves. Here's what I believe. I believe in a one-to-a-box theory. Ask this question, communicate with most, and ask yourself the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? Is it helping me to grow mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Am I becoming a better person because of this relationship? Do they bring out the best in me? Do they inspire me? Do they encourage me to develop my greatness? Do they make me stretch? So you got to look at the people in your life and find out, what kind of person are you becoming because of that relationship? My mother used to say, birds of a feather flock together. You run around with losers, you will end up a loser. Birds of a feather flock together. You run around with losers, you will end up a loser. Unconsciously, you will pick up their ways, you'll pick up their habits, you'll pick up, most importantly, their attitude about life. If you're around cynical, negative people all the time, you will become cynical and negative. So you got to watch yourself. Many of us are living out the lives of other people, living out their conclusions, living out of their consciousness. The other thing is that you begin to looking at your life and looking at what it is that you want to achieve. Another crucial thing that you must do is align yourself with powerful people. Align yourself with people that can encourage you, people that can empower you, people that you can learn from, people that you can grow from. That's very important. See, if you have people around you that can contribute to your growth. When I wanted to become a speaker, I joined the National Speakers Association. I wanted to be around the Dr. Norman Vincent Peales, the Zig Ziglars, the Dwayne Dyers. I wanted to be around people that were doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to learn from them. And you want to do that too. You want to align yourself with people who think like you, people who dream like you, people who want more out of life, people that are stretching and searching and seeking some higher ground in life. As opposed to the majority of people. Somebody said, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. And so you don't want to be on the bottom. See, it's easy to be on the bottom. It doesn't take any effort to be a loser. It doesn't take any motivation, any drive in order to stay down there on a low level. But it calls on everything in you, ladies and gentlemen. You have to harness your will to say, I'm going to challenge myself. Sometimes I have to pull myself out of bed and say, come on, Les. Things I know I should do, I don't do. Things I shouldn't do, I do. I found that the biggest enemy you have to deal with is yourself. There's an old African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. So think about that. So as you begin to look toward making this your decade, as you begin to look toward making your life different, as you begin to look at yourself, you've got to redefine yourself. Who are you right now? And who must you become in order to create what you want? What has to change about you? What is it that you're doing right now that would be a liability for you? As you begin to look toward the future and take inventory of yourself, what is it about you right now that you've got to leave this behind because this no longer fits? Looking at where you want to go and the kind of person that you must become, the kind of standards that you have for you. What is it that you must do differently? Repeat out to me, please. If you want to keep on getting what you're getting, keep on doing what you're doing. See, that doesn't take an Einstein for that one. All right? It makes sense unless you change your pattern, unless you change the way you're thinking, unless you change your behavior, you're going to continue to produce the results in your life. See, all of us are winners, but some of us are producing results that we don't want. And so all you have to do is look at your game plan, look at your strategy. How is it that you have been being? What is it that you've been doing to produce this? So you're the director, you're the producer, you're writing the script, you're the star of your life. And as you begin to look at your life, you can decide whether or not it's a smash or whether or not it's a flop. That's in your hands. Look at your life, look at where you want to go. Don't worry about your circumstances. Don't worry about your age. I have a friend who's up in age, over 70, and she wanted to build a multi-million-dollar complex. The name is Dr. Johnny Coleman. Lenders and bankers say, you can't do that, you're too old. She ignored them. That building now stands, ladies and gentlemen, a multi-million-dollar structure. But there are a lot of people who would have listened to that. There are a lot of people that would not have even gotten to that point. They would have talked themselves out of even going down to the bank to ask for it, because they've already said no to themselves. See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential, as opposed to saying no. See, 87% of our self-talk is negative. So you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to say yes to your dreams. Why not? Why not me? Don't spend time like most people going through life complaining. Don't try and get on talk shows and tell everybody how life has done you wrong. Here's what's happening in the audience. 80% don't care. And 50% glad it's you. All right? So when you know that, you don't go around cry, oh, you know what they did to me? Who cares? Get away from me before they come back. I had a friend of mine that said something that's very important. He said, hey, it doesn't matter what happens to you. The only thing matters, what are you going to do about it? That's all that matters. Okay, life knocked you down. What are you going to do about it? How long are you going to sit there and say, you know what they did to me? How long? Who wants to hear that racket? Use that energy to get up from there and move on and get on with your life. You got to learn to let the past go so you can grow. Many people never act on their dreams because they allow their past experiences to determine what their possibilities are. Whatever you've done in the past, that's not a reflection of your possibilities. That's just a reflection of your consciousness. That's just a reflection of your development and your growth. The future is unfolding for you right now. The future is unlimited for you right now. No one knows where you can go. No one knows what you're capable of or what's possible for you. You don't even know that. I had no idea, ladies and gentlemen. No one could have convinced me that I was able to do this. I'll never forget, I was speaking in Detroit, and a high school friend of mine saw me afterwards, and he was backstage. He said, I can't believe it's the same person. And I thought for a moment, and I said, it's not. The person you know, he's gone. He doesn't live here anymore. We have the power to change our personal history, changing the direction of our lives, changing our thoughts, changing where we want to go, exploring new horizons. So as you begin to look at this decade and affirming that this is your decade, as you set goals that will make you stretch, that will bring out the best in you, as you begin to remove the negative, toxic people from your life, as you decide to take some chances in life, and that's one of the things that's very important. Viscard said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you cannot be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I'll never forget when I reached my first major goal of buying my mother that home. I'll never forget what it was like, and you're going to have this experience when you reach some major goal. When I drove up to the house and I got out and I gave Mama the key, and I said, Mama, this is for you. I'll never forget the look on her face. She said, oh my God. No one could have convinced me when I adopted y'all that this would happen. She said, oh, thank you. And she said, and you caused me so many damn problems. I was just one of those kids that had a lot of energy. But no one knew what I was going to become. It was a great philosopher, Goethe. He says, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. And what Mr. Washington did was he looked beyond my faults and saw my needs. And he said, I see something in you. And I was there, oh God, I hope he's right. And I want to live up to his expectations. See, no one rises to low expectations. Finally, here's one last thing I'd like to leave with you. If you want to make this your decade, find some cause that you believe in. See, this is my profession, but my greatest joy in life is working with young kids. Every Monday, I fly up to Chicago to work with 600 young kids at Christ Universal Temple Church, working with them to develop a sense of purpose and direction with their lives. We've developed a training program. If they're addicted to drugs or alcohol, we help them to get into a permanent recovery program. If they're not, we help them to develop a vision of themselves where drugs and alcohol does not fit. I love it when I go into the Cook County Jail and see the look on these young men's faces, the anger and the self-hatred. And then when we leave there, see the difference in them as we begin to touch a spark in them as Mr. Washington touched in me. And you cannot put a dollar price on that. That's my reason for being. What is it that you would like to give the planet? What is it that you'd like to leave here? See, someone paid a price for us to be here. I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world that gives us an opportunity to make a difference in life. We are blessed to have been dropped off on this part of the planet. A friend of mine was in Manila and saw a bumper sticker that said, "Yankee, go home and take me with you." So as you begin to look at your life, decide, what kind of legacy do I want to leave? What kind of statement do you want to make with your life? What 3 things you want said when you die? What contribution do you want to make? I don't know what you want to do. I don't know what you want to achieve with your life. Here's what I know about you, and about you, and about you, and about you. That you have greatness within you. That you have things and gifts and talents that you've been bestowed with. That as you work consciously, making a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to cultivate and bring them out and develop a sense of purpose in knowing that your life can make a difference and decide to make and leave a legacy with your life. I say to you that the planet will never be the same again because you showed up. As you begin to look toward the future and affirm that this is your decade, this is what I like to leave with you that I'm known by. It's become my motto. And it says simply this: what do you want to do? My goal is to be the best son that I can be to my mother. My goal is to be the best father that I can be to my children. And my goal is to create a drug-free America, be the best motivator that I can be. Yes. Whatever your goal is, this is what I like to leave with you. It says simply this, that if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after this thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gulf, sickness, or pain, or body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God you'll get it. This is Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, Leslie Calvin Brown, saying it's been a plumb pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. Thank you all, dear.